What we do as architects is very similar to what doctors and surgeons do with prosthesis. Because what is prosthesis? Prosthesis is an artificial synthetic object, but it has to connect to a host organism. So if you have a prosthetic arm, it has to connect to the host organism, which is the human being. Now everything depends on the connection, the biointegration. And if a connection and biointegration is not effective, then either prosthesis arm breaks down or the organism is affected. So now in the same way, our buildings are like prosthetic devices. The artificial, the synthetic, the human-made. And the equivalent host organism is the biosphere, the ecosystems. For sustainable, green, and durable, and resilient future, our built environment has to integrate seamlessly and benignly with the natural systems in the biosphere. Form technology has to relate to nature. If we don't have clean and clean water, then it makes our work in making life better for human beings even more difficult.
I think the future will show that much more the idea of using, studying the climatic situation of where you are and using deflection of the climate and actually reducing the amount of mechanics in the building. It can be passive, basically. So buildings have reached a point where the technology controlling them is almost hysterical. Everything can be controlled, even the temperatures in different portions of a room, like the lighting can. And the technology to achieve that kind of thing is there, but it's absolutely probably 10 times more than you really need. And I think the direction will be both from the economy point of view, from the energy point of view, and the cost point of view, will be to simplify the buildings to get much more simple and straightforward and easy to control.
Form and technology, it's a huge enigma in terms of what it will be in the future. I am not one to believe that scientific views of technology, a kind of technology that will release us from our problems, really exists. We have to have a sort of a NASA program for the discovery of the Earth, rediscovery of the Earth and its potential. And if you're a believer, as I am, such a thing would not only be positive, but would succeed in the project of this rediscovery. Of course, you have to be well aware of the research possibilities. You cannot, in my view, just be a dreamer. You have to do some applications. In some ways, architecture is so far behind the sciences. I mean, we still do things in rather primitive ways. To adapt architecture to a present life, we would have to ask ourselves, why do we still believe in the house? Why do we still believe in looking out at the landscape? The connection between technology and form has to do with the language itself, deeply rooted in the metaphors and in the symbols of language, and has to do with our dreams, which, as I suggested, it might be time to wake up.
I think we're in the digital age, so we've gone through industrial age, we've gone through a series of different significant influences on how we conceive buildings and systems and material. Following a lot of the international movement in sustainability, I think the advancements in technology and the ability to gather data, use data beneficially, and allow that to model both master plans and campuses down to individual buildings. I think that's where the big change is going to occur. But I think the thing that's going to really change is the way we're all connected so much more to everything. I think it's the digital age will change the way in which we can gain feedback and we can gain closer control of the environments we sit in, and I think it should eventually eliminate waste to an insignificant amount. So whilst research can be can be parallel to what you do, I think it has to have an influence in what you do in the future.
¿Por qué no pensar en edificios híbridos en que se capta aire del exterior, lo podemos inductar al subsuelo y aprovechar la temperatura que existe en la tierra y esto incorporarlo ya sea para tener una ventilación natural directa, reduciendo 3, 4, 5, hasta 6 grados centígrados respecto al aire que hay en el exterior, o pensar en un edificio que pueda tener un sistema híbrido también entre ventilación natural y aire acondicionado, cómo se incorporan algunos sistemas de sensores que nos permiten entonces detectar cuando tenemos una temperatura deseable en el exterior para que se abran las compuertas y tener una ventilación natural. La visión de todo esto lo podríamos entender en edificios que han sido diseñados como si fueran un breath building, es decir, un edificio que respira, que tiene la oportunidad de trabajar como si fueran las branquias de una gran mantarraya, meter la ventilación natural. De la misma manera como la envolvente nos va a permitir generar diferentes condiciones en el confort de los espacios interiores.
I'm positive with technology, but also constantly, let's say, wary and skeptical. I think technology has given mankind unbelievable benefits in health and in things and opportunities for. I do get worried about artificial intelligence. If you put that in the technology pot, I do think there is a risk that it is moving so quickly that we all know we have to tame it. We have to tame the wild dragon. But maybe the dragon is growing much faster than we even understand how to tame it. We should have architecture where the form is, well, it's of its time, it's beautiful. It responds to technology, but has to be careful. It doesn't jump on a technology bandwagon too quickly and then the technology is gone because it was just a moment of fashion. And then you're left with a building that's there for another, whatever, 100 years. But the technology has moved on and you're just a child of that time.